Guys, I have a confession to make. I'm a fraud. I need to talk about the titles that appear in the bottom left-hand corner of each day. If you look at the previous video, the last video ended on day 2,958. I was getting close to day 3,000, real close. But I was lying. I was a fraud. I'm nowhere near day 3,000. It's actually, right now, day 2,857. Somehow, I was pretending I made grave errors, and I was pretending to be 100 days ahead of what I actually was. I'm sorry for what I've done to this community. I hope you guys can forgive me. It was accidental fraud, not real fraud. I even noticed this last video. I didn't fix it then, but I fixed it in this video. So the real thing is that my daily vlog script, my automatically generated daily vlog script, looks at the folder name of the footage that it's looking at to generate what day it is, basically. Basically the title is like day, number, date, and then it uses all that information to figure out what day it is, what date it is, all that shit. However, at some point, obviously, I'm handwriting these folder names. At some point, I fucked it up, and I changed an 8 to a 9. All right, it was an innocent mistake. Don't hold it against me. And I've been lying to you for however long. I have no idea when it happened. I don't put the dates in the video titles anymore, so it's not really obvious. It's obviously in the video. You have to watch the video and remember what the last video was to make sure it's right, which is insane. The way I noticed, by the way, was the new version of the daily vlog script, which is used to render this video, actually just looks at day 1 and then calculates forward. So it knows, assuming that it uses the date that the footage was filmed and saved on the little memory card, it uses that to calculate what the date is, and then goes back to day 1 and goes, oh, that means it's day 2,800 and whatever. So I apologise, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to take us a little bit longer to hit day 3,000, but that's sad. It's been like it for a while, because I even wrote on the calendar at some point, day 3,000. Day 3,000 I had 2 months away. Which would make sense if I thought it was day 2,900, but it doesn't make sense if it's day 2,800. So it's been like it for a long time. That's all I can say on the matter. But I'm currently going through the process of uploading videos. I've scheduled a couple of videos, and I am trying to figure out exactly when they're all getting scheduled and whatnot. I'm trying to keep a couple of videos in hand, but I'm also trying to half catch up. So that basically I've got enough videos to schedule when I'm on holiday. That's the plan of attack there. So I'm trying to be a little bit slow on catching up. I've had quite a few since this camera. I had quite a few like long videos that are only a couple of days long, so I'm trying to like space them out a bit as well, make them easier to watch. But I've figured all that shit out, so I'm like rendering, uploading. The video files are immense. I need to figure out if I can activate some extra kind of compression on the video files, because 3.5 gig video files take a decade to upload. So we'll have to see about that. But yeah, so otherwise, we've had a slow morning, wake up, get dressed. I haven't had any breakfast this morning because we had a kebab yesterday and I feel full still. But I just came down for a cup of tea and to make that confession for you. We've got shopping to go to tonight, but otherwise Bank Holiday Monday, which is why I'm not at work. If any of you are wondering. I just ran a little experiment on my video editing stuff, and it turns out that it can handle 4K, it can handle 2.7K, it can handle 1080p. It can handle, what way around does it work? What it doesn't like doing is kind of interchanging between the two a bit. It's not too keen on that. So if I just play you back this, there's no point me playing you back. Basically what it looks like it's doing is it takes the size of the first clip it gets. So if it gets a 4K clip, it gets a 4K clip and then renders it at 4K, which is cool, and 2.7K or whatever the fuck it is. But if you mix the two, it either A, doesn't like it, so it doesn't like going 1080p to 4K. It hates that. But what it can do is do mix 2. Which one's mix 2 here? It can do 1080p and 2.7K, but it isn't doing it. It's the smaller res. So what's interesting here, if you look at this date stamp here, watch it dance. Oh, do you see that flickered just right there? That's because of the way that I put the dates there. So it knows the frame is bigger, but it's downsampling it down to 1080p, I believe. And it doesn't like to go the other way around. It doesn't like to upsample. It doesn't like to go 1080p. But why did it do that for 4K? But yeah, so if I show you this 4K clip here, look, you'll see the thing is up there, because that's basically, this is like a pixel position, but obviously the footage is 4 times bigger. So we'll do a bit of an experiment. This video will be another 1080p one because I've already started recording it. Next one, we'll try 2.7 or whatever it is, 2.5K, and then we'll try 4K. I need to figure out, because I want to record 4K footage. It's probably possible. I could probably cheat it together. I want to try 4K footage on holiday if there's good fish, you know? It seems a shame not to be able to splice it into here. But maybe the compromise is that 2.7K just works out better anyway. And 4K, I'm assuming 4K is just absolutely unnecessary for what I record with this. So I think I'll do a 2.7K experiment after this video, and then we'll carry on. Anyway, I need to get some fucking work done. I'm talking about this experiment moments after complaining about a 3.5 gigabyte file upload. And I'm like, oh, let's do a daily vlog which is in 2.7K, which is just fucking an extra double it at least. That was fun. Laura didn't want to do that. Also, 30 times speed that was. And that was a longer clip than I ever imagined it would be. We spent a long time in that shop. And you were rushing around as well. You're like, I want to get out of here. I don't want anyone to see me with this dumbass GoPro. And he just ran off. Bolted into the sunset, my days. And that's all for today. Got a decent amount of work done. I've transferred it all to my laptop as well, so I can get some work done at lunchtime or whatnot tomorrow. But we just kind of went shopping, did some work in the afternoon, played Xbox, played a bit of Apex Legends. I don't know if I mentioned, but I won my first game yesterday. That was pretty dope. But yeah, so played a bit of Apex, just like chilling out on a bank holiday. Got another 4-day week to hit at tomorrow. I don't know what it is about a 4-day week when you have the Monday off, but it always feels like way longer than a 5-day week in any other scenario. It's going to be the longest week ever. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm not sure what the plan. I don't even know what. Don't know if it's going to be a surprise for all of us, isn't it? Had a first little bit of rain for a while, which is nice. Drop the humidity down. It's lovely. But I think we got special mention on the weather this morning. That's how you know how hot it's going to be here. Yeah, not a crazy amount was done today. All the cats are out. And they're looking at me. I open this door and just slowly walk towards them. Will they talk to me? We'll find out. Yeah, so we just had like a pretty chill. Oh, no, that cat's away. That's normally the nice one as well. The one that just scowls at you. This one's still here though. Hello, cat. Hello, buddy cat. Hey. Hello. Are you okay? How you doing? No. Okay. Well, that was fun. Yeah, so I just kind of freaked out there. Like my reflection walked this way in the mirror, in the glass. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, I fixed a load of bugs on another project, and then to be honest with you, I spent a bit of time on my laptop doing my own stuff. I've literally finished all the tests. The manual tester came, our tester on our team, she's a manual tester, came back from our meeting, and I'm like, oh yeah, if you refresh that page, I did all those tests. I'm bored. Have you got anything else I can test? And she's like, no. I'm like, okay. I've done bugs on a project I'm not really supposed to be working on, finished everything on what I'm supposed to be doing development-wise, finished all the testing work. Oh well, may as well do my own thing. Yeah, I literally got to the point where I couldn't do anything else without internet. I'm now at the bit where I just need to integrate it with blob storage, which is going to be a pattern. I've literally finished like the 3 days worth of to-do lists. I set myself a to-do list of tasks I want to get done on that day, and I've already finished Thursdays. So just got Fridays to do, and I'm going to whap out my laptop now and wait for Laura. So we had pizza for dinner, and Sainsbury's used to do these big pizzas that were like, they used to be really cheap, they're a bit more expensive now. And they were really nice. I used to get one when I lived on my own for like once every fortnight or something. They were so good, they were good value for money, everything. But now they only do one good pizza because they changed the recipe, and every single one of them except this one has like passata as a pizza base. And passata isn't a very good pizza base. It's just tomato. So it's got like no flavour to it basically. But we had we can never get, because we normally go quite late, we never get the only good one. We got the good one today. It's lovely, it was as well. And then we just did a load of work. I've been investigating how to work blob storage and stuff, and then realised that I've done it before. I kind of knew I'd done it before, but I've read from there before. I'm looking at how to do the upload stuff. Mainly just investigation work, to be honest. And I've now set it up so that my laptop's ready to rock and roll with it tomorrow, so I can do it tomorrow. I'm living the dream. But otherwise, Laura went to bed early. Than me? Not that early, she went to bed about 10:30. And I've just been like, don't really know what to do with myself. I booted up got my laptop ready for tomorrow, and then played a little bit of Xbox and watched some YouTube videos. I just kind of feel a bit like, I feel like it's in my pit of my stomach. I don't feel all right, you know? At 2 o'clock last night, I was still awake. Wide awake. I was literally lying in bed like, I may as well get up. I went to bed at midnight, and 2 hours later I'm lying there in bed like, why the hell am I so awake? And it's because I'm bored. Like before I went to bed, I felt bored and I didn't know what to do with myself. And then I went to bed and I was so bored I couldn't fall asleep. You know what I mean? So I'm now running on 4 hours sleep. What I did was I put on the music that I used to listen to fall asleep in the office when I was on my naps, and that was how I got to sleep in the end. I don't know, like, god damn, I don't know what's wrong with me. Like I say, I think it's because I'm just bored, and it's not helped by the fact that I've got like no work to do at work. So I'm gonna try and keep as what's the opposite of bored as possible. Was I right about today? Yes, I was. It was boring. We got some good stuff done. It's really cold. It's raining outside and it's driving the temperature down in the house. We did get some good stuff done. We have managed to deploy our microservice at long last into a test environment. We had it in live for a long time. We've now got it in a test environment and configured properly. We also tested some other stuff to make sure that we were finished. That wasn't related to the microservice. And got ready for a push to live for a load of bug fixes that I did the other day, and then that was about it. It was a bit boring from that point on. It was a bit boring while I was doing all that, to be honest with you. We had a couple of meetings about the next project that we're going to do. And yeah, it's basically meeting week from now on though. Tomorrow's a shitload of meetings, to Friday's a shitload of meetings. Living the dream. So came home, I've marinated some chicken right now. Check this out. And then I am going to be doing some programming. Oh yeah. I'm finding it annoying because I want to do work at work, which means I've got to have it on my laptop. But my laptop obviously isn't as quick as Atlas is. Atlas 2.0 is. By a significant way. And I find that really freaking irritating. I wish it was a little bit more trivial to transfer code between the two. Because like, I've got to put it up to the build, and the build's gonna fail. And like, the commit that I'm about to commit isn't a real commit. It's just a fake commit because I'm passing things in between two things. You know what I'm saying? You know what I know you know what I'm saying. Got a solid amount of work done today. In bits as well, because Laura was a bit late home. But I have got it now so that I basically I'm at the point where I can basically upload the stuff I need to upload to blob storage, which is nice. I've got it all DI'd up. I need to do the config, and I need to do a couple more tests. I'm conscious of the fact that I have like command handlers that are quite heavy. Like they do a lot of stuff because you've got to come in, you send it a message and then it's got to like validate, it gets all the stuff, make sure it's in the right state, then does the thing, then saves the thing, and it gets quite lengthy. And I should really try and separate it out a little bit more, I think, into like, but the problem is that like at each stage where it could go wrong, it returns back, like it returns the state that it went wrong. So it's quite difficult to abstract away because it's not like I can just have, it's not like I can just effectively like do other things in these functions, because sometimes that returns, sometimes it throws things, like it does different things. It's quite frustrating. But anyway, Laura went to bed about an hour and a half ago, and I've been trying to like tire myself out a bit, / getting ready to go to bed myself and try not to do what I did yesterday. That's my plan. But yeah, I've got everything ready on my laptop to rock and roll before I go to work tomorrow. It's Wednesday. Doesn't feel like a Wednesday, but it's a Wednesday. I think my next 2 days are now just pure meetings, which will be fun. Always look forward to a couple of days of pure meetings. No, I kid, but it's actually something to do, which I don't always have to do. Just waiting for this Land Rover to get around the goddamn corner. Yeah, it's something else that can be done, you know, instead of trying to figure out what I can do at my computer when all I really want to do is pull out my own laptop. Also, I got a letter saying how many days I've got holiday unbooked that I can book, and I'm trying to figure out whether or not I should book it. Like, it's only 3.5 days holiday, so it's not a crazy amount, but do I need extra days off? Question one. Considering that I'm not going to have a job in a couple of months, and do I need the extra money? Like 3.5 days extra money, it's pretty good. It's pretty good, like pre-tax, that's almost an entire month of runway. So, although obviously it's not pre-tax, but I can claim tax back for the tax I've paid this year so far, but that's by the by. So yeah, I need to decide what it is I'm going to do about that, and I just can't do it. Have I got fluff on me? No, what? God no. I very nearly deployed something to live today, untested, and it would have gone bang. I literally didn't do it just because someone else wasn't in and I needed them to press a button for me on one of the things. But it's the first time I'm introducing mass transit as... I've introduced mass transit into a microservice that basically enables that microservice to throttle the input. We're just using RabbitMQ like straight up, and I cannot figure out for the life of me a way of hacking whatever shit we've got to selectively slow down some messages but not all of them. So I threw together a mass transit thing, tested it locally and on a version of the cloud hosted message bus stuff that we have. Ran it, cool, happy birthday. I tested it locally because I could basically ham fist the code so that I just bombed it with like 20,000 messages and watched it slowly drain with a rate limit and stuff. It was great. Couldn't do that in the real environments for obvious reasons, because we need, one, I need real data, and two, whatever. So I was like, fuck it, smash it through, I'll test it locally, happy birthday, let's get it to life. But we did another ticket, and I was like, oh, good way to test this ticket is to use that thing. One of the ways of talking through this thing, I don't have to just do a load test, I can just do a normal test as well. So I do the normal test, and then it doesn't connect at all. And now I need to try and figure out if there's a permissions difference between the user that I'm using to connect to mass transit in this microservice versus the other microservice that we have that works. I'm just thinking, I think it does work. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I've seen it go committed before. We've committed things on that microservice. Ah, fuck knows. Might have to test that, lol. Maybe it doesn't work. Who fucking knows? But yeah, I know when you create one for Azure, in Azure Service Bus, you have to create the user that you use to connect, don't close that. The user that you use to connect to the microservice has to have manage rights on a message bus, not just read-write rights. which causes problems. Otherwise, that was about all for today. We had like the world's longest meeting. Started. You know when you're in a meeting and it feels like it's 4 times longer than it should be? They're talking about some stuff that's going on in like projects that are going to be around when I'm not there. So that also didn't help to how little I cared. And then we otherwise did some basic level refinements for the next project that we're about to work on. I'm like directing how we split the tickets, because I think we split the tickets up in the past badly, in the sense that we made tickets dev tasks, and therefore you get a load of tickets that you just kind of merge and you get no site on and no test on. So I'm trying to make them actually deliverable user stories instead, so that we can control. Shall I? Well, yeah. So there's like this political reason as to why we can't use subtasks, which is what you'd normally do. Have subtasks instead of, development world. You have things like features, epics features, and whatever, and user stories. In Jira, you have like all these types of like tasks and all this kind of shit. But we can only use a certain subset of them for political reasons. Which means that basically we were using full-on user stories effectively to do singular development tasks. And then you do like a minute piece of work. Oh yeah, cool, happy birthday, move that across the board, just to make it look like you've moved something across the board. But then nothing happened, you know? You've moved a ticket, but nothing's been delivered, nothing's been achieved. And I've like fought to make it so that now what we'll do is we'll make a ticket that when you move that across, the business gets something. Like you move it across, and as soon as it's in that last column, some value has been delivered. And you either go live with it, or you sit and wait for it, but you can see it. Because I think the problem with our last project was, we had a shitload of these tasks, a shitload of them moved, and nothing was delivered for an extra 2 or 3 weeks, and the business started to get a bit antsy. But yeah, so it was pretty good fun fighting, well not fighting that, but like kind of walking everyone through how to do it this way instead of that way. Because it's a lot, they're used to effectively just writing a big old to-do list in tasks. Because the way they used to split up the tasks, the way they used to like split up the tasks to make them more manageable was to split them by technology. So like you'd split them, you'd be like, this front end version, now the back end, then now the microservice, and all of this. But in reality that doesn't make any sense, because you need all of it together to test, you know what I mean? So you just kind of split it artificially, but really what you've done is just made 3 different tickets that you're just going to move at the same time because you can't test them. Or you merge it and then you have to bring it back from the dead because it didn't work because the thing didn't exist and you didn't know that until after. You know what I mean? Whereas now, and this is like the change in focus, which I'm like trying to hammer in, I'm like, so we're going to do this thing, we're going to do this feature, it's going to work like this. How can we divide it? Let's do happy path. And then someone will be like, but what happens if this happens? We're like, well, that could be a separate story. We don't need to handle that. In theory, we could go live only dealing with success. And if it fails, and it just goes a bang, it's a hard exception, done. All of that kind of shit. So in theory, we could deliver this without going to the official order confirmation page, for example. In theory, we could. We're not going to, the business isn't going to, but in a scenario where they suddenly had to, they could, and they can prioritize now going to the order confirmation page against something else. And it's that kind of, but they could never really prioritize front end versus back end. To be honest with you, it's just common sense. It's what everyone does. I feel like where I am at the moment, we've got a new BA working on this project. She came over and asked us about like, she's done this thing in the past where you do like as this person, when in order to do this, I can do this, or something like that, given one lens. I don't know what the technical term is for that, but a user story. But you don't really do that here. Like, no, we want to do that here. If you want to do that, we're fully behind you. So, but yeah, but it's like, it's almost as if even she's been like bullied into thinking, or tricked into thinking what's right, and like what's the genuinely industry accepted way of doing things. We don't do here, so it must be wrong. But yeah, so it's interesting. Either way, it was really productive. We've got a list of things, happy path things that we can now start refining independently. and then we can start deep diving into some of the error cases. It's going to be interesting when we start development to see if we can properly rein in. People can be like, no, you don't need to worry about that yet. Think about it, we need to do it in the future, but you don't need to worry about it yet. Stop stroke keep, because the problem with what we were doing was it would take forever for something to get to test. It was very like waterfall-y. Whereas this way, before you can get to the order confirmation page, for example, we can now test all of the other stuff. And there's loads of other stuff. Getting to the order confirmation page is a relatively simple task. Relatively. But if we deliver it, it's not quite, but because of this weird thing. But if we deliver the other bit, then the testers can test all of the other really complex stuff, where you do like all of the inputs basically, and then we can test all the outputs after. Makes sense. But yeah, so it's pretty good. Basically, just doing data models, which is always fun, and getting them written to the database. I need to the thing that I'm creating, I need to stash it into the database, and I'm like, this object that I'm creating, I'm storing, it's big. It's getting quite big now, and like there's a lot of nests and there's a lot of stuff going on. But I think I'm now at the point where I'd actually fork this and put it somewhere else. So once this is stored, like this microservice needs to keep track of it, but then the rest of the stuff is going to be handled by another microservice. Don't know what that microservice is going to be called or exactly what its scope is yet. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun little thing to do. I've noticed that I kind of hold this camera like this. I apologise. I'm trying not to. But I think it's because I want to put my finger on the trigger, you know. I'm going to bed. See, I'm holding you at an angle. I'm going to go to bed. I woke up this morning. Laura gets up before me now, which is worse. I find it's always easier to wake up when your alarm's the first alarm, you know. But I woke up and I don't think I went to bed. I got to sleep. But no, I did get to sleep quite quick. But I woke up and it's caught up with me. I'm like, I'm so pooped, I don't want to get out of bed. I forced myself out of bed to go and have a shower. And then as soon as I'm in the shower, I'm fine. It's the downside of not having like an ensuite you can just like roll into. So, thank you very much for watching this video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it. I need to remember to swap the cameras out and try a high resolution for the next video. I'll catch you later.